Hi, my name is Jade and I started at Long Road in 2018 and I finished this year. The subjects that I took were English literature, psychology and history, and in this video I'm just going to be talking about English specifically. So I think my favourite topic we studied was Twelfth Night, but I actually kind of enjoy Shakespeare, so that could be partly why. But also the way we went through it as a class was we basically would watch videos of the play and then also read it as a class, which I found really helpful in understanding the plot and analysing characters and stuff, because it can get really confusing with Shakespeare. Yeah, so I think you should take this course if you like English. There's not a lot of point in taking a course that you don't enjoy, and I've always liked English. I've always been fairly good at it, and that's why I took it. And it was actually really helpful for my other subjects as well, because both of my teachers said that they could tell from my essays that I was taking English alongside those subjects. We've also been asked to tell you about our future plans after college. So I finished now, I'm on my gap year. Next year I'm going to be going to university in London at King's College, and I'm actually going to study English again. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so if you decide to do English, it is a good course. I hope you enjoy it. If not, I hope you enjoy whatever you do decide to take, and good luck.
Hi, my name is Rosie Miller. I studied at Long Range Sixth Form College between 2018 and 2020, and I did English literature, history and sociology. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about English literature because it was one of my favourite subjects to study, and I'm going on to an English-based course at university. So a few of the things that I loved about English literature at Long Road is the support that you gain from the teachers. So my teacher Emma was an amazing person to support you when it comes to if you need a little bit of extra time on an essay or you were struggling with a question. She'd always be there to help if I needed her, or just have a discussion. One thing that Long Road has that I absolutely adore is the amount of discussion that you have with your teachers, especially studying English literature. So over the summer you might be asked to read 2 or 3 books, and in September you'll be asked some questions about them and just have a general discussion. And instantly when I had that discussion in September 2018, I realised that there were so many other people that had read the book in a completely different way and saw things in it that I had just completely missed. And equally, there were things that I'd seen in my book that some other people had not seen at all. So it was a great opportunity to sort of take bits that I'd learned and share them, as well as take on board what other people had taken out of the book too. So one thing that I especially loved was the in-depthness of our reading. So when reading a book such as The Great Gatsby, as well as taking the story at surface level, we also unpick the story and the meanings, the metaphors, the symbolism for America as a country, and so much can be revealed just from this 100-page story, which you would not believe. And reading in depth is something that is so glorious when you can do it, and sharing your ideas. Also, there's such a variety on the English literature course, so you learn from Shakespeare to Rossetti to Thomas Hardy to American literature, which is your main course of study. So American literature was my favourite. I loved reading The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck, but my favourite book ever I found on my English literature course, which was The Sound and the Fury by William Faulkner, which was an incredible story about a family and the twistedness and the different angles that I took from that. And I was talking to Emma all the way through. It was so lovely to have someone else who saw the book in the way that I did. I also loved the amount of flexibility that I was given when reading Rebecca. So I read Rebecca and compared it to Thomas Hardy poetry for my coursework, which was so fun. I was sort of left to my own means, to be honest, to read it, which was really good. But if I needed the support was there. And being able to report back to Emma and say, oh, this is what I've read this week, this is really good, would you like to see my mind maps or my notes or bits that I took that I really loved? That was really cool. So one thing that English literature has definitely taught me is how to read between the lines and see stories that you might not always see. The support, and I cannot stress enough the support, to be honest, of the course, and how much our class became like a little group of friends, and we just talked to each other about the books, and just to be able to connect with each other through literature is something so beautiful.
Hi, my name's Harriet and I've just finished my second year at Longroad. I study English Lit, History and Geography. I have absolutely loved studying English Lit, not only because of the subject, but also the amazing teaching staff, friends I've met on the course, and support I've been offered throughout. English has opened up my eyes to literature I would not have necessarily read in my day-to-day life. I've spent the last 2 years with my head buried in some amazing literature, and being able to sit in a classroom 3 times a week and talk about things I've read is just incredible. Unfortunately, due to the current circumstances, I can't tell you about my exams. However, I know that the incredible staff in the English department will try their best to support you and help you get to the standard you should be at before you sit them. I was once told by a teacher when I was picking my A-level subject to not go for something that I was unsure about how it would be. I knew I always loved English but wasn't sure if it was the right course. However, I am so glad I did pick it, as I have had such a wonderful experience. This course is not only jam-packed with incredible books, but also teaches you skills that are transferable across multiple subjects and life in general. I'm hoping to go on and start studying geography at Lincoln University in September, and I know that some of the skills I have learnt during my A-level English will be going with me as I move on to explore the world on my own.
I'm Alex Bentley. I'm a Year 2 A-level student at Longroad Sixth Form College, and I'm going to talk a bit about my experiences studying English literature at Longroad, and if you're a prospective student, maybe why you should think about studying it. So without further ado, my favourite thing about studying English at Longroad would probably be that it is a conversational subject by nature. So, other subjects, I studied English, history and sociology, and all of those require group work and require class discussion. But out of all three, English, out of all of them, it really makes people engage with each other, because people are constantly bouncing ideas off one another, and the class really teaches itself in a way that you might go away and do a bit of research, bring it to the class and share that with the class, and then everyone else learns, but that could start a debate about a text or a poem and you could learn more from other people. And that's one of the things I love about the subject, because it means when you study texts, when you study the subject, the class is brought closer together. And in fact, like, some of my best friends that I made at Longroad were made in my English class, probably because of that exact reason. And one more thing that I can say is the teachers at Longroad, English teachers, are brilliant at encouraging that, so you'd be in safe hands. The second thing, my other favourite thing about the course would be the texts themselves. I mean, English is my favourite subject, so maybe I am biased, but there will be something for you. If you study this subject, we study such a range of things. We go from Shakespeare, that's our oldest text, so things pre-1900, and I personally really enjoyed that. But if that's not for you, there's more recent text and coursework with novels from the 21st century. I mean, I did a piece of coursework looking at Ian McEwan's Atonement, and that is a very relatively recent novel. And so there will be, like I said, something for everyone, and it is just endlessly fascinating. So yeah, there will be something for you. So in terms of why you should study English, I think one of the most important things to know is that it crosses over with so many interests. I mean, for me personally, even before I studied it, I was massively interested in music of all kinds. But English, studying the subject, it brought about an analytical mindset, which allowed me to think about music in a different way. And I'm sure that was the same for other people in my class who had different interests. the skills that English gives you. So being analytical, critical thinking, obviously looking at a text deeply, it requires a certain type of thought, and they could apply that to other things they were interested in. And so, whatever you're interested in, English will give you something. It will enhance it. And another thing to extend that would be to say that English, it gives you so much. It's a very enriching subject. And in fact, when A levels were cancelled, obviously there was a certain amount of disappointment, and that we couldn't do our exams and we couldn't prove what we could do. But one thing I wasn't upset about was the fact that I'd put effort into English, because I'd still gotten a lot out of that. And even though I didn't get to do the exam in the end, it didn't really matter because of how enriching the course is. As for progression plans and what I plan to do with English in the future, I'm actually going to be studying English literature as a degree at the University of Liverpool, which is a brilliant university for the subject, and there are many others which are just as good. But it was my experience of the course at Long Road, studying English literature, that pushed me to take it at degree level. So it really is a lovely experience, and if anyone's thinking about taking it, or even if you're not, I really encourage you to think about it. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much.